The Ten Commandments, 1956, remains one of Hollywood's greatest biblical epics, a masterpiece of faith, power, and spectacle. Nearly 7 decades later, audiences still marvel at its grandeur and unforgettable performances. But what became of the stars who brought Moses, Rameses, Nefretiri, and the people of Egypt to life? Join us as we look back at the Ten Commandments, 1956 cast, their journeys on and off screen, their triumphs, legacies, and how time has shaped these iconic figures. From Charlton Heston's commanding presence to Yul Brynner's magnetic intensity, discover where the legendary actors of this timeless classic are today. Charlton Heston portrayed Moses in The Ten Commandments, 1956, when he was 33 years old, delivering a performance that would define both his career and the epic film genre itself. His Moses begins as a confident Egyptian prince, raised in luxury and privilege, unaware of his true heritage. When he discovers he was born a Hebrew, his identity and loyalties are torn apart. Heston's portrayal captures this transformation with stunning conviction, his booming voice and commanding stature embodying the chosen messenger of God. As Moses confronts Pharaoh and leads his people to freedom, Heston brings immense emotional weight to scenes like the burning bush, the plagues, and the parting of the Red Sea. His portrayal conveys both divine purpose and human struggle, making Moses a timeless symbol of faith and liberation. In real life, Heston was already a rising Hollywood star, but The Ten Commandments cemented his place as one of cinema's great leading men. He went on to win the Academy Award for Best Actor for Ben-Hur, 1959, and appeared in other classics such as El Cid, Planet of the Apes, and The Omega Man. Off-screen, he was known for his strong moral compass and leadership, serving as president of the Screen Actors Guild and later the National Rifle Association. Married to actress Lilia Clarke for over 6 decades, he was a devoted husband and father of 2 children. Charlton Heston passed away on April 5, 2008 at the age of 84 after a battle with Alzheimer's disease. Yul Brynner portrayed Rameses II, the proud and defiant pharaoh of Egypt, at the age of 35. With his sculpted presence, piercing eyes, and distinctive bald head, Brynner created one of cinema's most unforgettable antagonists. Rameses is a man of immense pride and ambition, convinced of his divine right to rule. His rivalry with Moses evolves from brotherly competition into a clash of moral and spiritual power. Brynner infused the role with regal arrogance and smoldering intensity, making Rameses both terrifying and tragically human. His defiance of Moses and of God's will leads to Egypt's destruction and the drowning of his army in the Red Sea, a powerful symbol of pride defeated by faith. Off-screen, Yul Brynner was an international star of stage and film. He won the Academy Award for Best Actor for The King and I, 1956, and reprised that role over 4,600 times on stage, making it one of the most iconic performances in musical history. He also starred in The Magnificent Seven, Anastasia, and Westworld, displaying both action hero charisma and exotic allure. A man of mystery and magnetism, Brynner married 4 times and had 5 children. His final years were marked by courage as he publicly warned against smoking after being diagnosed with lung cancer. Yul Brynner died on October 10, 1985, at the age of 65 from lung cancer, leaving behind a legacy of strength, style, and timeless artistry. Yvonne de Carlo portrayed Sephora, the devoted and gentle wife of Moses, at 34 years old. Her performance radiated warmth, grace, and quiet strength, balancing the film's grand spectacle with emotional humanity. As Sephora, she is the shepherd's daughter who shelters Moses during his exile and becomes his lifelong companion. Her calm wisdom and steadfast faith guide Moses in moments of doubt, making her one of the most compassionate figures in the story. Through DeCarlo's performance, Sephora emerges as a symbol of devotion and humility, a grounding presence in Moses' divine mission. Off-screen, Yvonne de Carlo enjoyed a long and varied career in Hollywood, celebrated for her beauty and versatility in films such as Salome, Where She Danced, 1945, Criss Cross, 1949, and Band of Angels, 1957. She later gained renewed fame as Lily Munster in the beloved TV series The Munsters, 1964 to 1966, where she showcased her comedic talent. Married to stuntman Bob Morgan, she had 2 sons and continued performing on stage and screen for decades. Yvonne de Carlo passed away on January 8, 2007 at the age of 84 from natural causes, remembered as both a timeless screen beauty and a beloved television icon. Anne Baxter portrayed Nefretiri, the radiant and cunning queen of Egypt, at 33 years old. Her Nefretiri is both enchantress and tragic figure, a woman driven by passion, jealousy, and an unfulfilled love for Moses. Baxter played her with elegance, intelligence, and emotional ferocity, turning what could have been a simple femme fatale into a layered, tragic heroine. Once deeply in love with Moses, she is devastated when he rejects her and chooses God's calling over earthly love. Forced to marry Rameses, she becomes a queen bound by resentment and longing, manipulating those around her to ease her heartbreak. Nefretiri's beauty hides a soul tormented by loss and pride, making her downfall both inevitable and poignant. Anne Baxter's performance added heart and vulnerability to the grand biblical spectacle, balancing the epic's moral gravity with deeply human emotion. Off-screen, Baxter was a respected and versatile actress, winning the Academy Award for The Razor's Edge, 1946, and earning another nomination for All About Eve, 1950, in which she starred alongside Bette Davis. Her career spanned stage, film, and television, where she appeared in The Name of the Game and Hotel. She was married 3 times and had 3 daughters, one of whom, Melissa Galt, later became an author and designer. The granddaughter of famed architect Frank Lloyd Wright, Baxter carried artistic legacy in her blood. Anne Baxter passed away suddenly on December 12, 1985, at the age of 62, after suffering a brain aneurysm, leaving behind a luminous body of work that continues to captivate audiences. Edward G. Robinson portrayed Dathan in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 62, bringing his trademark intensity and sharp intelligence to the role. As Dathan, he is a scheming and opportunistic overseer who betrays his own people to serve Pharaoh, embodying greed and moral corruption in stark contrast to Moses' righteousness. Robinson infused the character with sinister charm, his voice dripping with deceit, his eyes constantly shifting between fear and ambition. Dathan thrives on manipulation, exploiting others to secure his own survival, yet his arrogance leads him to a fittingly grim end when he joins the idolaters in worshipping the golden calf and is consumed by divine wrath. Robinson's portrayal gave the film one of its most detestable yet magnetic villains. Beyond the screen, Edward G. Robinson was one of Hollywood's great character actors, renowned for his gangster roles in classics like Little Caesar, 1931, and Key Largo, 1948, and later acclaimed performances in Double Indemnity and Soylent Green. A passionate art collector and advocate for human rights, he remained deeply engaged in politics and culture. Married twice, he had 1 son, Edward G. Robinson Jr. Robinson passed away on January 26, 1973, at the age of 79, from bladder cancer, leaving behind an indelible mark on film history. Cedric Hardwicke portrayed Pharaoh Sethi the Fawn in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 63, lending the role an air of regal dignity and emotional complexity. As the aging ruler of Egypt and father to Rameses, Sethi is portrayed as wise, proud, and fair, a man who loves Moses as his own son, yet struggles with questions of loyalty and destiny. Hardwicke's deep voice and commanding presence give Sethi an aura of gravitas, especially in scenes where he must confront the betrayal and pride of his heirs. His portrayal captures the tragedy of a leader whose love blinds him to the divine plan unfolding before him. A distinguished British actor of stage and screen, Hardwicke enjoyed an illustrious career that spanned Shakespearean theater and Hollywood epics. He starred in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1939, Rope, 1948, and The War of the Worlds, 1953, earning acclaim for his intelligence and versatility. Knighted by King George V in 1934, he was one of the first actors of his generation to receive such an honor. Married to actress Helena Pickard, he had one son, Edward Hardwicke, who later became a well-known actor. Cedric Hardwicke passed away on August 6, 1964 at the age of 71 from emphysema, leaving behind a noble legacy of classic performances. John Derek portrayed Joshua in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 30, embodying the noble and courageous spirit of the Hebrew leader destined to follow Moses. As Joshua, he is strong, loyal, and unwavering in his faith, standing as both protector and moral compass for his people. Derek's striking looks and quiet intensity perfectly fit the role of a man of action, guided by deep conviction. His love for Lilia and his unbreakable devotion to Moses provide emotional grounding amid the film's grandeur. Joshua's journey, from a slave enduring cruelty to a leader chosen to guide his people into the promised land, symbolizes perseverance and divine purpose. Beyond this role, John Derek enjoyed a diverse career as both actor and director, appearing in Knock on Any Door, 1949, Rogues of Sherwood Forest, 1950, and Run for Cover, 1955, before shifting behind the camera. As a filmmaker, he directed several films starring his fourth wife, Bo Derek, including Tarzan, the Ape Man, 1981. Known for his rebellious independence and striking charisma, Derek married 4 times, including to Ursula Andress and Linda Evans before settling with Bo Derek. He passed away on May 22, 1998, at the age of 71, from heart failure, leaving behind a legacy that blended Hollywood glamour with creative individuality. Debra Paget portrayed Lilia, the gentle and tragic Hebrew slave girl, at just 23 years old. With her luminous beauty and expressive eyes, Paget made Lilia one of the film's most sympathetic figures. Lilia is tender-hearted and deeply spiritual, representing the innocence of those oppressed under Pharaoh's rule. Her love for Joshua and her suffering under Dathan's cruelty create some of the story's most emotional moments. Paget played her with subtlety and grace, giving the character a quiet dignity amid hardship. Lilia's eventual freedom serves as both a romantic and spiritual triumph, underscoring the film's message of faith and deliverance. Outside the biblical epic, Debra Paget was a popular actress of the 1950s, starring in Broken Arrow, 1950, Love Me Tender, 1956, opposite Elvis Presley, and The Indian Tomb, 1959, which earned her international acclaim. Known for her exotic beauty and emotional depth, she was one of 20th Century Fox's brightest stars. She retired from acting in the 1960s after marrying filmmaker Louis C. Kung, with whom she had one son. As of 2025, Debra Paget is 92 years old and lives a private life away from the public eye, remembered fondly by classic film enthusiasts for her grace, talent, and enduring charm. Vincent Price portrayed Baka, the cruel Egyptian master builder, in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 44. Known for his distinctive voice and commanding presence, Price made Baka a figure of arrogance and menace, a man intoxicated by power and luxury. As overseer of the Hebrew slaves, Baka embodies the decadence and brutality of Egypt's elite, contrasting sharply with the courage and morality of Moses and Joshua. His obsession with the slave girl Lilia reveals his moral decay, and his eventual death at the hands of Joshua becomes a symbol of justice and divine retribution. Though a supporting role, Price's performance added tension and sophistication to the film's grand narrative. Outside the biblical epic, Vincent Price built one of the most fascinating careers in Hollywood, becoming the undisputed master of horror in films such as House of Wax, 1953, The Fly, 1958, House on Haunted Hill, 1959, and The Mask of the Red Death, 1964. Beyond his screen persona, he was a classically trained actor, an art collector, gourmet chef, and philanthropist, admired for his intellect and charm. Married 3 times, he had 1 daughter, Victoria Price. Vincent Price passed away on October 25, 1993, at the age of 82, from lung cancer and emphysema, leaving behind a legacy as cinema's most elegant villain. Nina Foch portrayed Bithiah, the compassionate Egyptian princess who adopts the infant Moses at 32 years old. Her performance radiated grace, warmth, and maternal devotion, transforming Bithiah into one of the film's most tender and human figures. Defying her father's decree to kill Hebrew children, she rescues Moses from the Nile and raises him as her own, guided by love rather than fear. Foch imbued Bithiah with emotional depth, a woman of faith and courage whose compassion ultimately changes the course of history. Even as she later learns the truth of Moses' birth, her love remains unconditional. Outside of the film, Nina Foch built an impressive career in both Hollywood and academia. She appeared in classics such as An American in Paris, 1951, Executive Suite, 1954, for which she received an Academy Award nomination, and Spartacus, 1960. Beyond acting, she became a respected teacher of film and directing at USC, mentoring generations of filmmakers. Married 3 times, she had 1 son, Dr. Dirk de Brito. Nina Foch passed away on December 5, 2008 at the age of 84 from myelodysplastic syndrome, remembered as a woman of elegance, intelligence, and timeless compassion. Judith Anderson portrayed Memnet in The 10 Commandments, 1956, at 59 years old, giving a quietly riveting performance as the loyal yet tormented servant of Princess Bithiah. Memnet is a woman of rigid faith and suppressed emotion, haunted by the secret of Moses' true heritage. Bound by duty but consumed by moral conflict, she becomes both protector and threat to the royal family she serves. Anderson's sharp gaze and deliberate delivery imbue Memnet with tension and authority. Her confrontation with Bithiah, where she reveals Moses' origins, stands among the film's most dramatic moments. Her tragic death at the hands of Nefretiri, who silences her to keep the secret buried, underscores the film's recurring theme of divine truth prevailing through sacrifice. Off-screen, Dame Judith Anderson was one of the greatest classical actresses of the 20th century, celebrated for her work in theater and film. She earned an Academy Award nomination for Rebecca, 1940, as the chilling Mrs. Danvers, and shone in Laura, 1944, and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, 1958. Knighted as a Dame Commander of the British Empire in 1960, she never married and devoted her life entirely to her craft. Judith Anderson passed away on January 3, 1992, at the age of 94 from natural causes, remembered as a true icon of stage and screen artistry. Martha Scott portrayed Jochebed, the loving and faithful mother of Moses, at 44 years old. Her portrayal was filled with tenderness, sorrow, and unwavering faith, capturing the agony of a mother forced to surrender her child to save his life. In one of the film's most emotional scenes, Jochebed places the infant Moses into the Nile, trusting God's will despite her heartbreak. Later, when she is reunited with her grown son, Scott's gentle presence conveys years of silent suffering and enduring hope. Her performance added a human and maternal dimension to the biblical epic, grounding its divine themes in real emotion. In real life, Martha Scott was a respected actress, known for her sincerity and poise. She earned an Academy Award nomination for her debut in Our Town, 1940, and later appeared in Ben-Hur, 1959, Inherit the Wind, 1960, and television dramas throughout the 1960s and 1970s. She also co-founded the Valley Playhouse, nurturing young talent in American theater. Married to composer Mel Powell until his death, she had 3 children and maintained a quiet, dignified personal life. Martha Scott passed away on May 28, 2003 at the age of 90 from natural causes, remembered as one of Hollywood's most heartfelt and graceful performers. Douglas Dumbrille portrayed Janus, the skeptical Egyptian magician and court advisor, in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 66. Janus stands as a symbol of human arrogance and the futility of opposing divine will. Alongside his fellow magician, he attempts to challenge Moses' miracles with deceitful illusions before Pharaoh's throne, mocking God's power through trickery. Dumbrille infused Janus with a blend of intellect and vanity, his composed face and calculating tone masking growing fear as his false miracles are overpowered by the hand of God. The role reflected Dumbrille's gift for portraying refined antagonists, men whose charm conceals corruption. A Canadian-born actor with a career spanning 5 decades, Douglas Dumbrille became one of Hollywood's most reliable character actors, appearing in Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, 1936, The Big Store, 1941, A Day at the Races, 1937, and numerous westerns and comedies. Known for his dignified presence and versatility, he often played villains with intelligence rather than brutality. Married twice, he had 2 children and continued acting well into his later years. Douglas Dumbrille passed away on April 2nd, 1974, at the age of 84 from a heart attack, leaving behind a rich legacy of classic film performances. John Carradine portrayed Aaron, the brother and steadfast companion of Moses, in The Ten Commandments, 1956, when he was 50 years old. His Aaron is gentle, wise, and deeply loyal, a man of quiet faith who stands beside Moses through miracles, doubt, and revelation. Carradine's resonant voice and solemn expression give the character a priestly aura, especially as Aaron helps guide the Hebrew people toward freedom and faith. His portrayal emphasizes spiritual strength over might, a fitting balance to Moses' commanding presence. Beyond the biblical epic, Carradine's career was among the most prolific in Hollywood history, spanning more than 5 decades and over 300 films. He appeared in classics like Stagecoach, 1939, The Grapes of Wrath, 1940, and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962, working with directors such as John Ford and Cecil B. DeMille. His booming voice and dramatic gravitas made him a natural for both Shakespeare and horror alike. Married 4 times, Carradine was patriarch of a remarkable acting family, fathering David, Keith, and Robert Carradine. John Carradine passed away on November 27, 1988, at the age of 82, from natural causes, leaving a towering artistic legacy across generations of cinema. Joan Woodbury portrayed Korah's wife in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at 40 years old, bringing grace and inner turmoil to the small yet emotionally charged role. As the wife of Korah, the man who leads a rebellion against Moses, she becomes caught between loyalty to her husband and fear of divine punishment. In the climactic scene when the earth swallows the rebels, her face mirrors the tragedy of disbelief and pride. Woodbury's portrayal, though brief, adds humanity to the story's lesson on faith and defiance. Off-screen, Joan Woodbury was known for her striking beauty and dynamic presence, appearing in over 80 films from the 1930s to the 1970s. She starred in Charlie Chan on Broadway, 1937, The Living Ghost, 1942, and King of the Zombies, 1941, often cast as intelligent and alluring women. Later in life, she transitioned to television and community theater, co-founding the Valley Players Guild to mentor young actors. Married to actor Henry Wilcoxon for many years, she was also a devoted mother of 3. Joan Woodbury passed away on February 22, 1989, at 73 from a respiratory illness, remembered as both a classic Hollywood beauty and a passionate advocate for the performing arts. Frank DeCova portrayed Abiram in The Ten Commandments, 1956, when he was 46 years old, bringing intensity and defiance to the role of one of Moses' most outspoken adversaries among the Hebrews. Abiram is a man of pride and rebellion, whose lack of faith and greed lead him to challenge Moses' authority and question God's power. Dekova played him with fiery conviction and raw energy, his booming voice and expressive features perfectly capturing a man consumed by envy and ambition. His final act, joining the followers of the Golden Calf, leads to his destruction in the Earth's divine punishment, serving as a stark warning against betrayal and idolatry. Outside of the film, Frank Dekova built a steady career in film and television, often portraying strong, rugged characters. He appeared in Viva Zapata, 1952, The Ten Commandments, and became best known later as Chief Wild Eagle in the hit comedy series F Troop, 1965 to 1967. Off-screen, he was known as a thoughtful, artistic man with a commanding presence both on stage and on set. Frank Dekova passed away on October 15, 1981, at the age of 71 from a heart attack, remembered for his powerful screen personality and versatility. Edward Franz portrayed Jethro, the wise and kind Midianite shepherd who becomes Moses' father-in-law in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 53. His Jethro is a man of deep spirituality, embodying humility, patience, and wisdom. Franz's gentle performance brought warmth and moral clarity to the epic. His scenes with Moses in exile provide a moment of peace and human connection amid the film's grandeur. Jethro's guidance helps Moses rediscover his faith and destiny, and his blessings on Moses' marriage to Sephora offer one of the story's most serene moments. Edward Franz, known for his dignified bearing and expressive subtlety, enjoyed a distinguished career on stage and screen. He appeared in The Thing from Another World, 1951, The Four Poster, 1952, The Jazz Singer, 1952, and later in television dramas such as The Untouchables and Perry Mason. Often cast as scholars, doctors, and wise men, he was admired for his articulate delivery and gentle strength. Married to Margaret Ruth Nelson for many years, he led a quiet, scholarly life away from Hollywood's excess. Edward Franz passed away on February 10, 1983 at the age of 80, from heart failure, remembered as an actor of grace, intellect, and quiet power. Francis McDormand portrayed Simon in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 65, giving the character a quiet dignity and enduring faith. Simon, one of the elders among the enslaved Hebrews, represents patience, moral strength, and hope amid centuries of oppression. Though not a leading figure, his faith-filled presence helps anchor the story's portrayal of perseverance and divine trust. McDormand brought to Simon a humanity that spoke beyond dialogue. His worn face, solemn eyes, and gentle voice reflected generations of suffering and belief. In the narrative, Simon stands as a living testament to endurance and divine promise, a man who holds the community together through prayer and faith. Outside the film, Francis McDormand enjoyed an extraordinary career, stretching from the silent era into the age of television. He appeared in more than 300 films, including Cleopatra, 1934, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, 1939, and Superman, 1950s TV series. Known for his versatility, he easily moved between villains, sheriffs, and wise elders, lending credibility to every performance. A private man devoted to his craft, he remained respected by peers for his professionalism and humility. Francis McDormand passed away on September 18, 1968, at the age of 77 from natural causes, leaving behind a legacy as one of Hollywood's most quietly indispensable character actors. Robert Carson portrayed Eleazar as an adult in The Ten Commandments, 1956, when he was 47 years old, embodying strength, discipline, and devotion. As the son of Aaron and a loyal aide to Moses, Eleazar represents the next generation of faith, the man destined to inherit the priesthood and continue his father's sacred duties. Carson played him with quiet authority and noble bearing, reflecting moral steadiness in the face of hardship. His presence in the later scenes of the film underscores the theme of spiritual continuity, that faith transcends generations. Beyond this role, Robert Carson built a notable career in Hollywood, appearing in films such as A Star is Born, 1954, The Blue Dahlia, 1946, and Executive Suite, 1954. Frequently cast as military officers, government officials, or men of principle, his calm confidence and resonant voice made him a reliable supporting actor throughout the 1940s and 1950s. Off-screen, Carson was known for his intellect, discipline, and kindness toward younger performers. Robert Carson passed away on June 2, 1979 at the age of 69 from heart failure, remembered as a steadfast presence in classic American cinema. Dorothy Adams played the slave woman in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at age 56, infusing her brief appearance with deep emotion and maternal warmth. Her character represents the countless unnamed Hebrews who suffered under Egyptian rule. Adams's expressive face and sorrowful tone turned a simple role into a moving portrait of faith, endurance, and loss. Her performance, though brief, added heart to Cecil B. DeMille's epic vision, grounding the grandeur of miracles in the humanity of the oppressed. A highly respected character actress, Dorothy Adams worked across film, stage, and television. She appeared in The Best Years of Our Lives, 1946, The Big Street, 1942, and The Spiral Staircase, 1946, often portraying mothers, servants, and gentle souls with quiet depth. Off-screen, she led a fulfilling life with her husband, actor Byron Folger, and was the mother of actress Rachel Ames, continuing a proud acting legacy. Known for her humility and compassion, Adams was admired by colleagues for bringing sincerity to every role. Dorothy Adams passed away on March 16, 1988, at the age of 88, from natural causes, having lived a life as rich and meaningful as the characters she portrayed. Who is your favorite character from the Ten Commandments? How do you feel knowing that some cast members are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated. We appreciate your support and are glad to have you as part of our community.